is on the track now to join with the Purdue University marching band. And for a moment, we will all be back home again in Indiana.
Home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still burning bright through the sycamores for me. The new moon haze all its fragrance through the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, then I long for my Indiana home.
And the skies over the Indianapolis Motor Speedway filled with thousands of balloons.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You got 2 straight nights of Jim Neighbors, the dulcet tones of the late, great Jim Neighbors, coming to you here. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us tonight, as it is time for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup to take on one of our favorite racetracks, Indianapolis Raceway Park, located in Brownsburg, Indiana, where Mark Smith holds the track record, set all the way back in 1989. Yeah, long time ago.
Wait, you're telling me a Formula Super B was faster than those Jaguar, what were they, XJ220s around this track?
Yes, actually, that is exactly what we're saying. Crazy, I know.
I don't believe it.
It was a thing, I guess. Well, first, let me do the intros. My name's Chris Graham. I'm joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. Qualifications getting underway here. And Bizzle, we have got a championship battle, and that is the only way that we can describe this, as a battle. Pulling up the graphics here for you. How about Derek Love sitting on 1,194 points? But it is tight at the front of the field. Only 6 points back to Tracy Petter. Keep your eye on that 4th place car, though. Mitch Drevnovsky sitting on 1,076 points. He has only scored 7 races. He has not scored 8 yet. So whatever Drevnovsky scores tonight will be counted towards his point total. This is going to be a really tight championship battle down the stretch. Speaking of tight, the qualification runs are already underway. Tracy Petter going to be your quick timer as it stands right now. The lap time of 19.693. Nice lap for Tracy Petter. Let's pick up Jeffrey Stanton here in the number 94. Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina, the sponsor on that machine, as Stanton comes around to complete lap number 1.
No better place to duke out a championship battle than the greatest racing facility in the state of Indiana.
This is a hill he's going to die on. I don't understand why, but this is the hill that Bizzle has chosen to die on. Saying Dylan Vilashinsky checking into the comments, saying massive field tonight. Love to see it. Yeah, this is fun, man. Jeffrey Stanton going to be 3rd quick at the end of his qualification run. Oh, baby, we got the Red Ream Rocket out here too, Josh Batista. Let's pick Batista up as he has just completed lap number 1. Already working. Lap number 2 through turns 3 and 4. Mitch Drevnovsky now up inside the top 5 at a 20.021. Lap number 2 for Batista. He was 8th quick. He will move to 3rd quick on the board. Good lap there. Another good lap for Drevnovsky as well. Only 66 thousandths off a quick time. 19.760. 19.76 with a 0. Big lap there. Pick up Justin Bonkowski. He is on pit lane, so we'll get a look at the 6 of Dylan Vilashinsky. Harbor Freight Tools on the side of that machine.
I'll tell you what it comes down to. Both speedways feature both an oval and a road course. However, it comes down to if you're a larger fan of golf or drag racing, as IRP features the greatest drag strip in the entire world, and IRP,
It does.
the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, features a golf course.
You know what? I would take the golf course. It's on my bucket list of golf courses to play.
Brickyard Crossings would be fun, but I have taken a golf cart down the drag strip here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and let me tell you, I think it's more fun than golf.
Oh, that does not surprise me that you would be the guy to try to rip a golf cart down the quarter mile and see how quick it could go. Inside of 1 minute remaining here. Oh, that's even better.
The shenanigans that go on in the sportsman pits of Indianapolis Raceway Park for U.S. National Weekend competes with the Daytona 24 shenanigans.
I could believe that. I could absolutely believe that. And there was a time when U.S. Nationals were 32-car fields, and you would have 90-plus cars showing up to try to qualify for those 32-car fields. Shout out to Mark Hackett, our ace dirt modified reporter, spent a lot of years in the drag racing world.
The most fun thing to do, though, in the sportsman garage area, is taking water balloons on a slingshot and shooting them over the road to the spectator camping area.
Yeah, that wouldn't get us in trouble at all.
No, that's why you bring your big RVs and toter home, so you can run behind them and hide from the spectators who just got absolutely soaking wet.
That is exactly right. On Labor Day weekend in Indianapolis, by the way, where it is approximately fifth ring of hell temperature-wise.
Yes.
At least most of the time, anyway. Oh, let's take a look. We do have a grid camera. Well, okay, we had a grid camera. There we go. But we'll back out here and we'll pick up this look here so we can get you introduced to our starting lineup for tonight's 40-lap feature event for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup Series. Starting on the pole in the number 98 Hunter Racing Engines entry, it will be Tracy Petter picking up the win. Did Tracy get the win last night? I think he did.
I believe he did.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember. This is a long time ago. Lap time of 19.693 seconds. Nice lap there for Tracy Petter. Only 66 thousandths back. Almost a nice gap for Mitch Drevnovsky. In the Coors Extra Gold, number 21, that car will be the 3 in your timing and scoring. Tracy Petter will wear the number 1. Starting inside of row number 2, the 1-8 Coffee Flow Racing Curb Records Willwood Brakes, number 5 of Connor Knowlton. Starting to his outside, the Red Ream Rocket, Josh Batista, in car number 7. Row number 3 on the grid, the Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina, number 94, Jeffrey Stanton. Starting to his outside, the Street Side Classics, number 2 of Derek Love. 4th row of the grid, Graham Huffman, out of the great state of Indiana, in the Channel Lock, number 23. And on the outside, the Warriors for Peace, number 9 of Indiana's Hunter Smith. Couple of Hoosiers making up the 4th row here this evening. Rich Foreman, another Hoosier, great photographer as well. The Rich Foreman Photography, number 7 inside of row number 5. And the Scoop Co., number 15 of Ronald Gibbons on row number 5. 6th row going to have James Nunn in the 14 alongside of the Chiquita Banana of Richard Homan. Row 7, Dylan Wilashinsky, the Harbor Freight Tools, number 6, alongside of Cody Locke in the 19. 8th row of the grid, the Kibu, number 8, Alara Gerhardt from Germany, alongside of the Ford Fastenal, number 22, with Cale Coons out of Indiana. Nathan Wetzel out of New England, Aaron Parsons occupying the 9th row for tonight's race, Justin Bankowski and Jonathan Letourneau in the Flow Racing, number 16 on row 10. Row 11, Jake Hopner out of Texas, Max Rooney in the 13, Dylan Zullo and Ted Lee on row number 12. And all alone on road number 13 will be the 25 of Scott Mellendorf. Field already through turns 3 and 4, getting ready for the green flag. It's in the air. We're underway here at IRP. Mr. Ovnovsky started to close in a little bit in the middle of turns 1 and 2. He's going to do it again through 3 and 4, really carrying a lot of speed early on, and it is a hornet's nest back behind. Colton Batista, Love, and Stanton all doing battle. D-Love going out early in last night's race. Actually, Batista went out early. Jeffrey Stanton had big problems and still managed to finish 4th. I hope we don't see something tonight like we had last night. A lot of cautions, a lot of attrition.
Yeah, a lot of incidents occurring last night. And the sprint cars I was just about to say, are usually a bit cleaner, but I saw some carnage going on in the background there. And yep, caution is going to come out on the racing circuit. Oh man, almost another contact.
Oh! Rich Foreman trying to get out of the way. The 25 piling in. That's Scott Mellendorf. Oh, buddy, we got a yard sale here on the front straightaway. Take a look. It's a little bit back in the pack here. Laura Gerhardt, Graham Huffman, Rich Foreman. Looks like they all may be involved. Oh, big hit for Gerhardt. She goes for a tumble up into the outside wall. It actually looks like possibly 2 separate incidents. Yeah, Laura Gerhardt's was kind of a solo deal, getting some right side romance up into the outside wall. Now, let's take a look and see what happened here with Graham Huffman and Rich Foreman. This happening a little bit farther forward in the field. Oh, Foreman slides up just a little bit. Little contact. And somehow Graham Huffman got away with it.
Rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, that's the truth. We'll see one car having a little bit of a blinking issue. I believe that was Josh Batista. And he is already cycling to the back here in timing and scoring. Tough break, Josh Batista having a connection issue, it looks like. Got our buddy Robert Kreiser checking in here. What's going on, brother? Hope you and everybody out there are doing well. So field is working lap number 3 of 40, and they'll come back to take the green flag at lap number 4. As a reminder, caution laps do not count in the iRacing at Silver Crown, or Sprint Car Cup, excuse me. They definitely do count for the Silver Crowns, though.
Silver Crowns tend to run a much longer race distance with a fuel tank that's almost 3 times the size.
That is correct. And quite frankly, these sprint cars are evil to drive, period. You get them really light in the fuel department, man, things can go bad really, really fast.
Yeah, there is no weight on those rear tires, and sure, you get a bunch of grip when you have them loaded up in the corner, but taking weight off of those rear tires means the amount of pressure that tire is actually putting down trying to keep itself attached to the asphalt is minuscule. I mean, you'd have more grip probably with a 215 wide tire, a real skinny tire on the rear, than you do those big fat tires when the fuel tank's empty.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So field is getting ready to go back to green here. And as a reminder, we only have until about 9:40 to get this race in. The TNT Shock Series will be coming up at 9:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Oh, as we are already back under the caution flag. Very, very quickly back to yellow flag conditions here. Let's take a look. May have been Jake Hopner having an issue. Take a look at that 24 machine, a little bit back in the pack. Oh, just lost it on throttle.
Oh,
down
man.
into
and
the inside wall.
The 11 car is going to get a black flag for that for passing on the low side.
Yeah, I think the 11 is going to be Nate Wenzel. And unfortunately, Nate will very, very likely pick up a penalty from that one. And that's one of those, it's kind of just an unfortunate deal, and I guess you would say, a quirk of the iRacing scoring system. The rules say you can't pass to the inside before the start-finish line, even if you're avoiding a wreck. In the real world, race control would look at that and say he was avoiding the spinning car, no penalty. Here, no dice.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's one of the things you have to keep in mind when you're not in a race with live timing and score or live race control. When it's done by the computer's not looking at this scenario and what's going on. The computer's going, he passed on the inside, that means he gets a black flag. It's cut and dry, as simple as you can get. Sometimes I wish we could do that in the real world.
I think there are some instances of things that you could utilize the technology. And I'm thinking things like the absolutely god-awful track limits enforcement that you see in Formula One. The transponder lives in the middle of the race car, on the center line. Just put a transponder loop around the outside of certain corners. If the car triggers the transponder loop, it broke track limits. It's not that hard.
Yeah, almost like the strike zone in baseball. I know with a bunch of dirt tracks I've been to, it's always a judgment call as to who's the umpire, who's doing race directing up in the tower. As to the start box, did he jump? Did he not jump? If we could have that set by a computer, hey, he started hitting the gas right before he hit the cone, well, that's a penalty. Bring the caution back out, send him to the rear.
Yeah, and I will say this, too. Call me old school. I don't like the races that are wholly officiated from the tower. I think your chief official should be the person in the flag stand with the flags in their hand. They're watching, the starter and the assistant flagman are watching the race. One looking forward, one's looking backward at all times. That's how they cover each other. You can officiate 90% of dirt tracks that way, and most of the small asphalt ovals as well. The officiating should be done from the flag stand, and then you can call upstairs for help if you need it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, or probably fortunately, I don't run a dirt track, so...
Yes, that's the, I guess, the keyboard warriors calling out the race controllers, but that is kind of a thankless job, too. So much happening in race control. Fields off in turn number 4, green flag back in the air. See if we can get a few laps under our belt here. It will be lap number 4 going up on the scoreboard.
Race control never tells you you won. They only tell you you lost.
That's exactly right. Let's look a little bit further back in the pack here. Cody Locke having a little bit of an issue. Looks like Nate Wenzel also having an issue. He's going to bring his car to pit road. So let's pick up Connor Knowlton and Derek Love battling for position number 3. Gap between the leaders sitting right about a quarter of a second or so. Not a ton of movement happening there. Go back a little bit further. Hunter Smith, Dylan Vielashinsky at nose to tail as we get a new fastest lap of the race out of our second place car, Mitch Drevnovsky. We talked about it a little bit last night, but coming up this Friday night, the TNT Special Events Series kicking off Vintage Indy Weekend with Carbonite Chaos. That will be these sprint cars, plus the Silver Crowns, plus the USF Pros, the PM18s, and the USF 2000s, all here at IRP on the racetrack at the same time. I know I won't be driving the USF 2000, so we'll leave it up to the comments. What should I drive? The sprint car, the Silver Crown, or the PM18?
Oh. I still think you should do the USF 2000.
Oh, the car stinks.
It's my favorite car in the service.
Another thing that Bizzle has a pretty poor opinion on.
And I think the Mets are a good baseball team too. I mean, like,
yeah, you're just a guy full of bad choices. I mean, hell, you moved to Ohio.
that wasn't as bad a choice as my last one that left me on the west side of Pennsylvania.
That is correct. I will give you that one. Things tightening up ever so slightly here at the front of the field. It's down to about 0.2 of a second, separating Tracy Petter and Mitch Drevnovsky. Let's head back here. James Nunn and Cale Coons. Wonder if Cale is any relation to the legendary Coons family of USAC fame. Jerry Coons Jr., an absolute legend in the USAC ranks. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of wins here at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
What still blows my mind is they do run sprint cars and Silver Crowns and all of that here. And you're telling me a Super Formula V
in 1989 owns the track record? Yes. Oh, hold on to it. What a slide into the corner. Oh, my goodness. Cale Coons getting some work done. Oh, battle for the race lead. Side by side. Oh, there's caution right in front of the race leaders. Looks like Laura Gerhardt and Scott Mellendorf may have been involved. Gerhardt just coming out of pit lane. Mellendorf was up ahead. Well, that may not have been the issue here. Let's see. See if we can pick up what happened to Scott Mellendorf here. Well, yeah, kind of the same thing, just exiting pit lane. Let's take a look, see if we can find, well, he comes to a stop. That may have been the start of the caution. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to find a look here at this one. Let's see. Yeah, it looked like it may have been Aaron Parsons. Yeah, that's another one. Car just very, very slow down to the inside, so... Unfortunately, no replay look there, but... Seeing Connor Knowlton way down on the inside of the racetrack, trying to find some cool for the tires. Which is a little interesting, Bizzle, because it's only 66-degree ambient and 70-degree track temperature. I would think this is about as good a conditions as you could ask for, at least in terms of tire life on these sprint cars.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very grippy racetrack. So, reading about these Super Vs, initially they were the air-cooled VW Beetle 1600cc engine I was thinking about. But towards the mid-'80s, they did allow the VW Golf water-cooled engines to be run. But I still can't imagine they're making more power than the USF 2000 cars and PM18s.
No, I think it was
at
a case of they didn't have to lift. In qualifying trim?
They were very, very similar to the Formula Atlantic cars. And I'm looking at the lap times. They aren't all that different from the Indy Pro 2000s, which are the next fastest cars. So it's 126.1 mile an hour average speed versus 125.1. So a 1 mile an hour difference between the cars.
Which over the, 7/8 of a mile, I think this is. I mean, you're talking feet at that. when you do the conversion. So
it's a tenth of a second.
So now lights are out on the iRacing safety cars. We've got about 16 minutes left, actually about 13 minutes left in the broadcast window here. Race has already gone 15 and a half minutes, and we're not even to the halfway point yet. And I would tend to think for the drivers here, we talked a little bit about the Caution Fest last night. This has to be really frustrating for these sprint car drivers because Mitch Drevnovsky did a lot of work to get around Tracy Petter, and now he's going to have to basically give it all back and start it over again here as we go back to green.
Yeah, that's one of the many quirks of sprint car racing, any kind of racing where caution flags aren't counted. It just goes back to the scoring of the previous lap. There's no timing loops in the corners like NASCAR and all over the track, and they don't look at the cameras. Nope, you were behind them at the start of the last lap. You got to start and try and pass them again.
Well, we immediately have caution once again. Let's see. Looks like possibly Nate Wenzel having an issue. At least he was driving slowly is what my timing and scoring screen is telling me. Take a look here and see what we can find all in the NRN replay. Oh yeah, there's the 11. Oh! And some left side loving from Josh Batista. Oh, baby. Wow, what a piece of avoidance driving by Laura Gerhardt. Now, and to your point, Bizzle, that is not the way it works on the iRacing platform. They do have instantaneous scoring with the exception of when caution laps don't count.
Yes, we do have instantaneous scoring, but it still does revert back to the completed last lap.
And quite frankly, this is one of those scenarios that you'll encounter when the field doesn't split. The difference in iRating between top and bottom of the field. Graham Huffman is the last car in the field at a 1584 with 23 cars on the entry list. You get a few more that you get a split. We're talking about probably a 4,000, 4,500 iRating top split.
Not only that, though, the huge range of skill levels between the worst driver in the field and the best driver in the field is insane. Because Tracy Petter, but he's the number one car, absurd amount of iRating behind that driver. Fantastic at driving these things, lives and breathes sprint cars. At the bottom of the field is probably your stock car guys, people who've bought this car just to get a discount bundle and were like, you know what, I see sprint cars going live, I'm going to go run these things. And then on that same token towards the bottom end, you got guys like me who are just like, hey, I like driving the sprint car. It's a fun challenge and I suck at it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I will pop into one of these races when you see it go official, and I'm hoping to survive, not win. To the guys that are running up front, this is a lot of time spent under the caution flag. Now, we haven't had too many actual heat cycles because the yellows have been so close to each other, but they're burning off a lot of fuel sitting behind the safety car. The handling of these cars is going to get really tricky here late in this race.
And not only that, from our end, we have to be off the air by 9:45 for the Shock Series. It's only 15 minutes left, and we're not even halfway done with this race.
Yeah, we've actually only got about 9 minutes left, is what I'm seeing, at least based on the official broadcast clock here. Sign-on saying, hoping Jeffrey Stanton gets a big result. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's just kind of one of those deals where we're backed up to each other, and the TNT Shock Series is one that we get paid for. This is one that we don't. We broadcast them because we love them. But that means this is the one that we're going to unfortunately have to step away from in about 8 minutes or so. Lead opens back up. Oh, good side-by-side battle. A little bit deeper in the back here. Let's see. Richard Homan, Justin Bankowski. They're going to battle. Oh, one car sliding to the inside, and that will bring out the caution flag one more time. I believe that was Jonathan Letourneau getting spun around. We do have the replay on that one. Car just got a little bit loose, maybe got the finishing help there from Cale Coons as Wetzel goes for a big ride down to the inside. Now working at lap number 19 of 40. So next time we go green, it will be the halfway point. And we will ask our sprint car guys to get us podium results if we are not able to bring you the conclusion of this race. But we'll give it a few more minutes here before we jump off the air, because 20-second laps, this race will end in a big-time hurry. You're talking about 4 or 5 minutes or so if this thing goes green to run the last 20 laps. As it stands right now, let's see, we still have actually most of the field is still on the racetrack. Rich Foreman, Jake Hopner, Scott Mellendorf, Max Rooney, Aaron Parsons, Nate Wenzel, all on pit road. Laura Gerhardt is in her box as well.
It blows my mind how quickly sprint cars tick off laps. That and the NASCAR modifieds. I know down at Riverhead Speedway, or Riverhead Raceway they call it now, when the Tour modifieds go there, the race will start, we'll get to about lap 100 of the 300 lap race that the Islip 300 is. I'll go and get another beer and I'll come back up and they've already ticked off 75 more laps. Like, I was gone 15 seconds, not even.
Yeah, it is.
Most of the race is over.
It is wild to see how fast they can go. I called a feature race at Lanco a 40-lap feature event that went green and was over in like, I don't know, 9 minutes or 11 minutes, something crazy like that. You're talking about ripping off 10, 11 second laps, and all of a sudden you're doing 6 laps a minute, and you're going, holy Christ, these guys are flying around this place.
June 1st, we have an Enduro down at Goods Raceway that I get to call. 200 laps of 4, 6, and 8 cylinder beaters going around the quarter-mile dirt track.
Awesome. My favorite is that
will not take off quickly.
It has to be an immediate safety danger in order for the yellow flag to come out. So cars lose body panels, they just stay there on the racetrack until the next caution flag.
Oh yeah, you get a car that's spun around the wrong way, no caution flag unless they're blocking the circuit or something's on fire or something crazy.
Correct. If the car's dead in the water, they'll throw the yellow flag to get the car off the track and let the driver get out safely and all. But if you're just spun down into the infield, it's like, tough luck, man. So, one final restart here on the NRN airwaves tonight for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup. Petter, Drevnovsky, Knowlton, Love, and Stanton, the top 5. Oh, great restart that time for Tracy Petter. Trying to get the field opened up. Derek Love, Connor Knowlton doing battle in 1 and 2. Oh, man, they're all getting a little bit squirrely now off the corner. Just back behind, Grant Huffman, Dylan Vilashinsky. Tango a little bit in the middle of 3 and 4 that time. Lashinsky up on the outside. Huffman looking down to the inside. They're going to have the 9 Hunter Smith right there as well. Drevnovsky with a new fastest lap at a 19.777. Oh, huge squirrely there out of the 9. Lashinsky slides high. Similar story to what we saw last night in the Silver Crowns. When they get going, there are really 2 usable racing lines for these cars as we have caution one more time, and it looks like it might be James Nunn having an issue. Oh, little squirrely. Wow, big hits there. Huge tumbling flip for the 18 of Richard Homan. Oh my goodness. But with that, going back under the caution flag, we will have to call it a night here for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup. We will talk to Mr. Jeffrey Stanton. We'll get the podium results for you. We will give that to you during the TNT Shock Series race. But with that, it's time for us to get the heck on out of here and fly on over to Richmond Raceway. Don't go anywhere. The stream will kick you right over to the TNT Shock Series race. You're watching the Doubleheader Tuesday, Double Shot Tuesdays, right here on the National Racing Network.